Mickey Mouse. What else is there to say about him? He's the mascot of Disney who unfortunately has become a negative icon on the internet and TV, which is something I never understood too well. If Mickey can get this treatment, then why not Bugs Bunny with Warner Bros. Discovery because of the scandals this decade, SpongeBob with Paramount, formerly Viacom for copyright infringement, or Mario with Nintendo for taking down fan games. He's also been subjected to preschool content like Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, which is fine I guess, but still, I want to see something wacky with him, like how he used to be in his shorts from the golden age of animation. So what if we stripped those elements away and made him and his friends star in the most unhinged cartoon series Disney has ever made? This is a video about Mickey Mouse, the 2013 TV series. Mickey Mouse is a comedy slapstick animated TV series that aired on Disney Channel, or Disney.com technically speaking, on June 28, 2013. It is directed by Paul Ruddis, who is a big name in the animation industry, working for the Powerpuff Girls and co-creating Symbiotic Titan. 9 days before the series premiered, there was a Where's My Water mobile game based on the series called Where's My Mickey. You remember that game series, right? Episode 1 begins with some goofy shenanigans with Mickey and Donald at the beach. Apparently Goofy serves those who wear a shirt and shoes, not concerned about pants since he's pantsless for this series. Not much to say about it, because this is probably the least chaotic episode in the whole series. Episode 2 is where things start to get unhinged. And it takes place in Switzerland, which means this series will have episodes taking place not just in the US, but in other countries as well. Mickey hears Minnie yodeling and wants to meet her, but any sounds he makes will cause the snow above the mountain to shake. And one sound has him stepping on a bag of chips, which he tells to shush and it reacts. The next sound is a forest of cuckoo clocks, which shakes the mountain more until Mickey feeds the wooden birds seeds. After that, a giant pig drinks root beer and is about to make the biggest burp ever, which Mickey contains and launches to another mountain. I'll just let the sound play. Afterwards, he encounters a Yeti and a chase ensues, with them doing goofy shenanigans while trying not to cause an avalanche. Fortunately, Mickey escapes, but unfortunately for the Yeti, the avalanche is caused by Minnie's door slamming it and real footage of an avalanche plays. Finally, it immediately turns spring afterward. Oh boy, we're in for a trip. In episode 3, we're in France and Minnie Mouse needs croissants for the customers, which Mickey delivers via his living scooter. Throughout the trip, he hits the saints that slowly float down back to land, crashes into a barn, gets chased by the police who literally have police cars in their hats, and breaks the glass slipper of Cinderella, which is probably good since she probably needed to cut off her toes to fit the glass slipper. As expected, it ends with Mickey arriving with the croissants after that wild trip. In episode 4, this is where things get really chaotic. Set in New York, Mickey and Minnie are hanging out until Minnie's stomach erupts very loudly. Mickey orders a hot dog for Minnie and then it pops out after a single bite, leading to Mickey chasing it down and causing babies to cry, getting beaten up, and encountering a cross-dressing Goofy. The hot dog also becomes sapient and starts playing poker. Mickey is fertile at this point, desperate to catch that hot dog even when it hides inside a lion. After he catches the hot dog, there's a gross close-up of it with bandages and a crunch. Ugh. Then it's arrested and Mickey and Minnie get free hot dogs. You can always see how insane this cartoon is getting, which continues from this point on with a super fast boiler train in Japan that launches a road up, Mickey's butt popping, a child's butt burning, Mickey, Goofy, and Donald dying, Mickey pouring ice cream into his hot dog, and the trio turning a hot day into a cold day from an ice cream truck. Those were 2 episodes, by the way. In episode 7, which is called Gasp and is the most viewed short ever on YouTube, we're introduced to Gubbles, who is Mickey's pet fish, and in 55 seconds the chaos ensues with Gubbles ball breaking after a cat tries to eat him. Throughout the episode, Mickey tries to give Gubbles water, which leads to Gubbles being cooked, Mickey performing CPR on him, being eaten by the cat while diving into the tub, encountering fish skeletons, and acting like a dog. The cat also screams like SCP-096. My goodness, what did I just watch? Anyways, the tub is still active and it leads to Mickey's apartment floor being flooded, which saves Gubbles, and suddenly Mickey is now wearing scuba gear. I can see why this is the most viewed short ever. In episode 8, Mickey is trying to take a photo of a baby panda and goofy shenanigans like always happen, with the baby panda acting silly, the light bulb thinking gag becoming a balloon, and the camera speaking words of distress. In the end, it's reversed because now Mickey is being photographed by the baby panda. In episode 9, Mickey has to go to a show in 15 minutes and then he loses his ears from a fan blowing it, beginning the quietest episode in the whole series. Eventually, he finds out that they're in a hockey game being treated as pucks, and to get them back he has to win the game. I kinda like how the audience isn't treating him like he wasn't part of the game in the first place. After getting them back, he attends the show and the most beautiful song plays. Episode 10 is interesting because it's the creepiest episode featuring a ghoul Goofy, and only one line is said.
You wouldn't hit a mouse with glasses, would you?
What is this thing? A dead ancestor of Goofy? And no, since ghouls are said to be demons shapeshifters. But why Goofy out of everyone that Mickey likes? Who knows, and maybe this episode justifies those cheap horror films about Steamboat Willie that were announced this year, along with the creepy concept art for Epic Mickey. These were only made to see what Disney could approve for the game to clarify. That was the first batch of episodes for Season 1, so now let's look at the second batch of episodes, but not in full detail. Instead, I'm just going to mention the craziest moments, then talk about Seasons 2 to 5, and finally, the legacy this series left. In the second batch, we get to see many crazy and chaotic things happen, like Goofy bringing a rocket launcher to a dog show, a whale performing opera, Mickey and Donald creating an amusement park for Goofy centered around potatoes. This is also the first 7-minute episode of the series, by the way. Goofy sleep jogging and having a marathon, with his eyes literally sleeping and he almost gets pooped on. You know what? Why don't we just take a break and have a peaceful moment for... Never mind. Episode 6 is where we're introduced to Pete, who is a wrestler in this episode, and oh my god! Next episode, Goofy just goofs around on Mickey and Minnie's date night, which ends with them... wow. In the final episode of Season 1, Donald and Daisy are in a bad mood with each other, so it's up to Mickey and Minnie to turn that mood around. There's also a cameo of the Beauty and the Beast, ending with Donald being beaten by the Beast. The next thing that happens is the sun roasting Daisy and Donald, and the final thing that happens is the four of them, along with the Sun and Rain Cloud, finally getting along with each other. Overall, this batch is just more insane than the last one and proves how chaotic Paul Ruddis will make Mickey and his friends act in each episode, with the animation, soundtrack, and writing being great. The funny thing is that the animation movement is what Wander Over Yonder would use, which aired 4 months after this TV series did. Now let's talk about Seasons 2 to 5. How do I begin with these seasons? Well, they're even more unhinged than Season 1, which includes a Gale shift coming to life to laugh at Minnie after she failed to pull it only to be choked by extreme strength, Pluto reaching extreme strength to blast some aggressive dogs into the sky, this boar screaming like a woman, a living piano getting pinned, scary movie, Goofy holding a shrunken head, Slimy Tubby's Tinky Winky, and so much more. Also, these seasons have 5 shorts centered around Minnie Mouse, such as Doggone Biscuits and Clogged. But what do I talk about for these 4 seasons besides the utter chaos that ensues in each episode? Oh, right. These 3 7-minute episodes that were made in these seasons. Starting with Wonders of the Deep, Mickey, Donald, Goofy, and Professor Von Drake are exploring the deep sea, encountering different creatures like a dogfish and a literal tiger shark. Unfortunately, Professor Von Drake is accidentally sent to the ocean and swallowed by a clam, and now it's up to Mickey and Donald to find him while Goofy takes control of the ship. This leads to crazy shenanigans like usual, such as Goofy sending missiles and a loud signal. Then Mickey and Donald encounter Minnie and Daisy, who are mermaids this time. Nope. They're hallucinations, and what they're really encountering is the Kraken, which ends up swallowing them. At least they found the professor inside it, and now the real chaos begins, which involves harming the Kraken by blasting it, hurting its ears, and getting crushed by a rock. If this were Happy Tree Friends, this would have looked different. Also, there's a cameo of Pinocchio and Geppetto in this episode. Next is Kululin Melody, set in Hawaii where Mickey is practicing a song with his ukulele. This practice leads to him encountering a spirit repeating his song, which Goofy says is possibly an akura. Mickey continues practicing until the night where the spirit appears and goes into the kapu, which the cast follows. He then sees the spirit playing peacefully until Goofy and Donald, who got scared by a tiki speaker, crashes into the tree and then... On the next day, they continue searching for the Akura and find a mountain sinking like it, which just turns out to be 2 geysers. Then they're blasted by water and hit every island in Hawaii. Afterwards, they start disbelieving the Akura and leave except for Mickey, who sees Minnie Mouse and starts singing with her. The Akura notices and makes a rainbow, ending the episode. Finally, split decision. This is probably the most chaotic 7-minute episode, in which Mickey has enough of Donald Duck's tantrums, so he takes him to Professor Von Drake to see if he can fix him. He introduces them to a machine that takes out all the anger of a person, leaving them filled with peace. Donald is dragged into it and at first is all good as he's calm and happy, but things immediately go 180 when a berserk Donald comes out of the raw anger container and breaks out of the lab. Now Mickey must capture the berserk Donald while Donald hugs everyone, and that's how the rest of the episode goes. Seriously, Donald causes a huge brawl by hugging this man's wife while the berserk Donald destroys everything. As expected, they come back together after Mickey tells them about Daisy and pushes them back to the machine, which the professor didn't recalibrate in time, leading to this result.
Close enough.
Those were the 3 7-minute episodes of these seasons, with New Shoes, Surprise, and Out of Time being the last 3 left. New Shoes is about Mickey, Donald, and Goofy switching bodies and voices after Pete punches them, allowing them to experience how one of their friends' lives goes. Surprise is about Mickey having enough of surprise parties and telling his friends to stop them, just for his birthday tomorrow to be his biggest surprise. Out of Time is about Goofy time traveling into the Mesozoic and now Mickey and Donald have to get him back. There are also 2 22-minute specials centered around Christmas and Halloween respectively called Duck the Halls and The Scariest Story Ever. The former is about Donald staying with Mickey and his friends this Christmas instead of his family and duck friends, only to get sick from the cold weather. It's up to Mickey and the others to get him south before he dies of hypothermia. As for the latter, it's about Mickey's nephews challenging him to tell scary stories for Halloween. At first, they're funny until they provoke him to tell a terrifying story, hence the title The Scariest Story Ever. I haven't watched either of these specials, but I did see a few clips of them, and yup, they're very chaotic like always. And that was the Mickey Mouse cartoon series directed by Paul Rudish. Overall, it's a very chaotic and zany series starring one of the most famous cartoon characters ever put into crazy situations where anything can happen. As said before, the animation is beautiful, the voice acting is great, the soundtrack is spectacular, it's also available on SoundCloud, and the writing is great and crazy. This is also the 2th most awarded TV series of the Annie Awards, the first being The Simpsons. Now let's talk about the legacy this series left. In Disney's Hollywood Studios at Walt Disney World Resort, there is a ride called Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, which started construction on August 17, 2017, and opened on March 4, 2020. The pre-show starts with a short called Perfect Picnic, which involves Mickey and Minnie going to a park for a picnic until a bump causes the pie to launch into the air and clogs the steam hole of Goofy's train. He crashes the train and it breaks the 4th wall by ripping a large hole in real life. After that, Goofy sees the guesses and asks a cast member to help get the guesses on the ride. The ride starts with a happy view of the park, then goes into a tunnel where the track switch is hit by accident because of Mickey, and now it's up to him and Minnie to save the guesses. Throughout the ride, we travel through the canyons, a carnival attacked by a twister, a jungle with a volcano and waterfall, an ocean that has the Kraken from Wonders of the Deep, a busy town, a dancing segment with Daisy, and finally a factory that will lead to the guesses being smashed. Fortunately, Mickey and Minnie stopped the Smasher and we're back to the park with Goofy. Overall, a crazy ride based on a crazy series. In 2020, following the cancellation of the series in 2019, we got a sequel series called The Wonderful World of Mickey Mouse that's on Disney+. I haven't watched this, however, but the difference between this series and the original series is that all episodes are now 7 minutes long, only in season 1. And Minnie's new voice actress is Kaylin Rubrock, since unfortunately the original voice actress, Usa Taylor, passed away in 2019. Anyways, the series finale and overall the end of these Mickey Mouse shorts is called Steamboat Silly, which is about Steamboat Willie clones causing chaos all around town, fitting since this was released in 2023, a year before Steamboat Willie would enter the public domain. The recognition this series has gotten on the internet is somewhat low, and the fact that every short on YouTube is labeled as made for kids doesn't help, so we can't see what others think of it. In recent years, however, there have been out of context compilations from the series being uploaded on YouTube, which has helped slowly gain the recognition it deserves. There's also this review by Nostalgia Critic that calls it The Wonderful World of Mickey Mouse, which is technically incorrect. This is about the 2013 series, not the 2020 sequel series. Also in the video, he takes a little jab at Beanmouth.
A lot of kid shows nowadays are starting to look the same. If you were to play the first minute or so of a random show without showing any of the main characters, I don't know if I could point out what show it is. This one I could get right away, even if you never show Mickey, Donald, Goofy, any of them.
I agree. I just hope that one day someone makes a video ranking every short from this zany cartoon series, and I think that's where I'll end it. So that was my video about the 2013 Mickey Mouse TV series by Disney. I remember watching a few shorts of it during my childhood, but in my early high school years, I watched all of it and realized just how chaotic the series is. This is thanks to the out of context videos that got me into them. The fact that there isn't too much discussion of it around the internet besides Twitter is why I felt the need to make this video. Anyways, goodbye.